Misinformation shared on social media has a serious impact on our elections and undermines our democracy.
Well, for more on this, Santosh Rao joins us now from Princeton in New Jersey. He's Head of Research at Manhattan Venture Partners. Welcome back to the program, Santosh. Now, last year, the FTC levelled a record $5 billion fine against Facebook for breaching privacy regulations. Now it could also go after it for abusing its market dominance. How worried should Mark Zuckerberg be here? Do you think there is an actual case against Facebook in terms of an antitrust lawsuit?
Yeah, I think let's start from the beginning. I think Facebook has had a target on its back for a long time. And that comes with the territory when you are the biggest player in town. I mean, the small businesses don't have any place else to go. There are more than 2 million small businesses on the site. We have more than close to 3 billion people logging in and out of Facebook. So you have a solid market dominance. So it's an easy target for that. But then Facebook also has some issues regarding hate speech and other places and how it was manipulated for elections. So there's definitely cause for concern, but not necessarily. I don't think Facebook has violated any rule, any law. Yes, it's a new paradigm. It's a new way of looking at things. So it needs to be monitored. The regulations need to catch up. But I don't think just breaking it up and blaming Facebook for doing a great job is the right solution.
Now, we know.
So we'll see where it goes.
Yes.
But at this point, I don't think they're at risk of anything. But definitely there will be some curves.
Okay, but we know these big tech companies like Facebook and Alphabet are awash with cash, and they've been buying up their rivals for many years now. It's only now that regulators are perhaps questioning if that was a good idea to let them just essentially buy up the competition. Do you believe these companies should be broken up or their assets should be spun off? Because there is a case to be made that it really does stifle competition if these big behemoths are just buying everyone up.
Yeah, I mean, hindsight is 2020. I'll tell you something. When I followed Facebook, I followed Instagram when when Facebook did acquire Instagram. It wasn't a big company at all. No one knew about it. They bought it for a mere $1 billion at that time. So it was a good strategic move. WhatsApp was also, nobody really cared. It was growing, but it wasn't that big. But you have to realize the competitive dynamics change on a dime, change very fast. You have the Tencents, the Alibabas, and all the other big Chinese companies growing. To stay competitive, you have to play the competitive game. And that's what Facebook's doing. And the reason it is what it is because of its very strategic moves. So I don't think you can hold that against them. And tomorrow things can change. One new technology. You're seeing TikTok already. It's already disrupting. Could disrupt Snap, could disrupt Twitter, could disrupt Facebook down the road. I mean, new technologies come up, and tomorrow Facebook may not be there. So that's what I'm saying. And theoretically, it's possible that Facebook may not be here 5-10 years ago. So from now. So it's very important to keep that in perspective. It's not like the olden days when companies were very static. Now it's very dynamic, and today's dominance can be tomorrow's just have-beens.
That's
so
right.
What I'm saying. So things move fast. Well, so I don't think you can blame them for being big.
Okay, as you mentioned, Facebook is also in the crosshairs for allowing hate speech and so-called fake news to proliferate among its platforms, which include WhatsApp and Instagram. We know regulators have targeted these companies for privacy issues, antitrust concerns, but do you think they should also step in to tackle hate speech and Facebook on social media?
Absolutely. On that, I will blame Facebook for not doing an adequate job or not explaining what they're doing. So I think there are certain areas I think Facebook needs to be monitored and reined in, and that I'm all for it. And Facebook and it's all very subjective, right? So I think that's where Facebook doesn't want to be the arbiter of truth. That's what they said. So and it's very difficult. It's subjective. Your hate speech is other person's political right or whatever. So there are a lot of cross currents there. It's not a black and white issue. It's a very delicate thing. So I think there has to be certain guidelines, certain mandates, certain curbs around this thing to really spell out what's hate speech and what's not. But some things are very outright hate speech, and that have to be just banned without any question. But on a larger question, I think you really have to be very careful on how you monitor all this.
Okay, Santosh Rao from Manhattan Venture Partners. A pleasure as always. Thank you.